evening, and welcome to Google Hangout number 4. My name is Colleen Bassett, and I have Emily Hawthorne here, and Seth Thomas, and Taylor Sullivan with me to discuss neat teacher tools that they can use in their classrooms. My first tool is Formule. And this is a really neat thing for teachers especially. They can create different types of forms they want and tailor it to whatever kind of thing they need. So like if I were to do a conference registration form, we could do Saturday, March 10th, 2013, address, time, and then you could add a field. So you could add this right here, and then you could put whatever you need in this thing. There's also ones that, let me see, other templates. So this is where I think the teacher would find the best suited ones. So there's customer satisfaction survey, and in my eyes this would be a neat way for the teacher to change some of the words and then write, like if she wanted to do a survey on how the children liked a book or how successful they thought an activity was, I think this would be a really neat thing for a teacher to use.
I agree. I think that's a lot of things are online now, and it's really hard to communicate with sending things home back and forth from the parent to the teacher, and this is a good way to get things quick and it's kind of secure.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of neat things to add to. So you can basically take an already formed template and change it to whatever the teacher would need to use. And there's also, when they want to publish the form, they could publish links or put it in an email or put it in a blog. And I think this is really interesting for teachers that have their own websites. They could just throw it in here. Yeah, I think that this is really neat. I never knew that there were things out here like that. So I would probably definitely use this in my room for like maybe a mid-semester or middle of the year survey to the parents to see like how I would be doing personally as a teacher and if there was any things that they would want to change.
Or even like a field trip sign up for volunteers.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. My next one is.
Possibilities are endless.
What was that?
Said our possibilities are endless with the forms.
Yeah, there's literally just so much that you could do, and they give you so many different templates to use. So my next one is Book Wizard, and this is really neat for teachers. It's a Scholastic website.
Walensky would love that.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
So, and they choose it by the guided reading levels or the DRA levels or the Lexile measurements. Or the grade level equivalent. So if I were to do the book Wonder, we could do and this will tell you. So it says the interest level is grades 5 to 7, the grade level equivalent is 5, and all of this stuff, and you can just choose the different. So if you wanted 10 to 9, you could choose that, and it would give you all of the books that pop up under the keyword Wonder. Or then you could search for similar books.
That would be cool for book club because then you can find books for different readers, but they're still in the same like grade level and same area.
Yeah, I like the similar books because you could match this book and it'll give you other books that are similar to that sort of book. So it's like, I don't know, really neat. And then search by reading level. So you could do grade level 1.4 to 2.2, or use any of the guided reading or DRA or Lexile measurements. And then this will let you, so if we wanted to do 2 grades easier to Wonder, we would just select Go, and then it would give all of the similar books to that. I really like that. I really like Scholastic, so I would definitely use that. And those were my 2.
All right, so I had EMIS as one of my sites, and let me just take you to the website of EMIS. All right, so can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
So this is EMIS, as you can see up here, and this is a presentation software which could be beneficial in the student or the teacher in the classroom. It would also probably work well for maybe conferences as a professional, or maybe conferences, informational conferences with teachers. But it's kind of like an update of any other presentation you would do, not like a Prezi, because it's interactive and students can come up and interact with this actual presentation. So they already have presentations made. I see how I clicked on education up here, but then you can also make your own presentations, and it's not really cooperating right now. But it is free. You can always upgrade to, a higher. So great classroom technology. Teachers can engage their students, create lessons, create presentations. Older students could use this to make their own presentation after doing research, creating a project, storytelling, and you can also share presentations online, which is awesome. Even for maybe like a pen pal project, something like for ELL students or some cultural awareness in that. I could see it being a struggle because of the time of learning the new software. That always takes time for you as a teacher and students as well. But it is a great way to integrate technology in the classroom to get kids more familiar with new things that are out there to use.
Yeah, that's really cool. And even if you didn't want to go through the time of making your own, you could always use someone else's.
Yeah, that's a great part. And you can share them. So I know my teachers have like a team of all second grade teachers, so this would be a great thing for them to just use, and you can edit it next year but share it with all the teachers on the team.
Yeah, that's neat.
And then my second is the QR code, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. You see these everywhere on billboards or anything like that. So this is just qrcode.com. And it gives you information about QR codes, everything, honestly, the different types of QR codes, how to introduce them, questions about them, what is it if you're really unfamiliar. And then it also gives you a generator down here, and then reading apps and scanners. So this would be awesome to use in your classroom. You could do maybe like a hunt around the room for QR codes, and students could be hunting for certain vocabulary words, or ELL students could scan something and it would come up in their language, and then maybe your phone will say it. So this can be used in so many different ways in the classroom. maybe you could do surveys, so students with the devices or parents during a conference, after a lesson, a quiz, they scan it, they complete everything, and then it goes straight to you on like a Google Doc or a Google survey or something like that. The only thing could be there's not really much you have to learn. You kind of make your thing and you plug it into a QR code reader, which they give you some down here when you click this link, and then students go for it. But also iPhones, iPads, Androids, you have to have a device to read this code for you. You can't use a laptop to read this code. It has to have that application of the scanner. So that's kind of what I was thinking to use the QR code for. Did anyone else have any ideas about that?
I think you
No, I like
nailed
the idea of the scavenger hunt with the kids. It's definitely really cool.
Yeah, I really like that as well. All right, and those are my two.
Okay. I had ooh, ThinkPort. So this, I think, is a great resource for teachers and parents and students. Teachers, they can go to online courses and you see how they have graduate credit and all these other things. They can go here and learn more about how they can get credits in their graduate classes or take classes and educate themselves. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then these are all like the classes that they can do, and like they can even look at the syllabus and see what they like have to do for the class. I thought that was pretty cool. The education community, there's a section for family where they can go, and it gives resources for parents. And I thought this was cool where it talks about screen time for the kids, because now, since technology is a big thing, people don't really know how to control it and stop their kids from using it or overusing it. So I felt like this was a cool little tool for parents to use with their kids. And then learning resources is divided into each like section. So I'm early childhood, so we'll go there. And it's divided in early childhood and all the other sections within subject. So literacy, math, and social studies. And then you can click on one. So I like STEM. And then there's games and all these things that students can do. So I was thinking teachers could do this for like a brain break during the class, or like indoor recess if it's raining, because it's still educational, but it's fun for the kids. And then one other thing I thought was cool was this Youth Voices in Baltimore. It's a separate website, but they teamed up to do it, and it talks about at-risk students and what they face every day, and here's a little thing about it. And I thought that this could educate the class on social issues that they might not be aware of, so I thought that was pretty cool. And there's also this About Us where it talks about like what ThinkPort is, and it's a video, so you don't really have to read, you can just watch it, which is nice. So the only really problem with this is I think that if kids start playing the games, they'll want to play all the time instead of doing their classwork. And then the games cannot always teach content, and students will forget how to study because they'll just want to play all the time and not like get down to the content.
It's kind of like Raz Kids. All the kids in my placement like to get on Raz Kids, but to watch the videos and not read the books in Raz Kids.
Yeah, we have that problem too.
Yeah, they just like playing the different games and watching the videos.
Yeah. So my next one is Rubistar.
Ooh, I like the name.
So it's a site for
Rubistar.
And I'll log in real quick for you to see. Maybe not. Basically, you go here and you can create a rubric. So there's templates already made, and then you can create your own, and then you can look through the templates based on subjects, so math, writing, reading, whatever. So then there's the topics, so art, analysis of work of art history, whatever you want. The only problem with this is these are the only ones you can really pick from, and then create your own is kind of difficult to do. It's a lot of work. And with this, you only have a 40-minute time limit, and so you have to save your work and keep going back after every 40 minutes, and it might take some people a while. They can't sit down for 40 minutes straight and do it. Some teachers like to do their work over time, so that's kind of a downer. The other thing is with the time limit, if you're somewhere where the Wi-Fi isn't great, then if you don't save it and your Wi-Fi goes out, it completely is wiped and you have to start all over again, which is not very reliable, I don't think. And then teachers that are reluctant to use technology, I think that this is good for them because it's just rubric building. So you can just type in the box and say what you want and then save it and you're done.
Yeah,
So,
and it also doesn't give them a ton of choices to choose from.
so it's
So
not
they're
overwhelming.
not really overwhelmed by everything.
And then there's this tutorial button right here. So anyone that doesn't know how to like kind of figure it out on their own can watch a tutorial and figure it out for themselves by watching.
I feel like with the new Common Core standards as well, it's really important to have a rubric. It kind of saves you sometimes as a teacher because students and parents and principals can't really question you because you know exactly, students know your expectations when you give them that rubric. So this is an easy way for teachers to kind of not cover their back, but really show the expectations and before the students even start the assignment, really.
That, and it's good for kids because I know as a student, I don't like to, I mean, I like to be creative, but I like to have guidelines. So I know exactly what I need to do, what I need to include, so I'm not losing points if I forget something. And if I do, it's there on the rubric, so that's my own fault.
And it's a great way also to allow students to express themselves in different means, writing, reading, art, show what they know, but they also have this rubric that they must follow in what they're presenting their knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And also going off what Emily and Taylor said, there's no gray area, so they know exactly what they need to do. It's like a checklist. They can make sure they're doing exactly what they need to do for that assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
All right, so the tools that I have, this one here, which is the CAST Science Writer. So this site right here is free, but you do have to sign up to reap the benefits of it. But a couple things that it does do, it helps in writing lab and class reports. So this is useful, could be any class, but mainly science. So if you're doing a science lesson and they need to write down some information or data they collected, this helps them doing that. And it also walks them through the process of each step. And also it has a tool where it breaks it down into smaller sections so it's not overwhelming with a bunch of blank boxes, and it kind of allows them to do each piece before they can move on to the next one so they know that they're doing it correctly. And it also improves their work by doing so. Then also we have these little animated character experience. So we have Echo, Max, and Sam, and they kind of are character guides, and each serve a different purpose as you're going through this process. And then also this feature here for the text-to-speech, it allows not only for you to have your stuff read back to you, so we all know that sometimes a sentence may sound good to us, but then once we hear it out loud or someone else reads it, it'll sound different. We may need to correct it. So that's a cool piece for that, the text-to-speech. And also it allows for definitions. So if you're not sure on a word, you can click it and it'll allow you to get the definition for that word as well.
That's great for ELF.
And then also, yeah, definitely. It helps them understand the words they're using and make sure they're using them correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this sentence starters, which also kind of for kids if they get stuck, it helps them to start out the project or the report, so they know how to transition through each sentence, maybe use different words so not each sentence is sounding the same or running together. So that's a good piece. And then it also is aligned with the UDL framework, so it meets the needs of all different levels of students. So that's good to make sure they're all able to complete the assignment, even if they're not on the same level. The only obstacles I saw was that you need the technology available, so you have to have either the computer or the tablets, whatever has the internet on it for you to navigate through this for them to use. And that may be it. And also maybe not being fluent with technology, so they're not very I guess experienced with using it, so they have trouble navigating through each step. So you may have to run through it a couple times to show them exactly which things they should and should not do, or pieces to incorporate in their reports. But other than that, I feel like it's a little bit foolproof because of all the steps and guides that it has incorporated in it.
Yeah, I feel like the only problem you would have is the time consumption.
Yeah. All right, and the second tool we have here is the CAS UDL Exchange, which we have used to create our own lessons. So this tool is used, you can browse and build resources. So this is a collection of resources, lessons created by other people, and it allows you to browse through them. So if you were searching for, we'll go and browse. So if you're searching for a certain lesson you want to incorporate in your classroom, this is perfect. You can go in here, you can search by grade level, content area, and everything like that. And also, it's probably more beneficial for the teachers as far as time management, because it allows them to go in here and they can sift through all these resources and narrow it down to exactly what they need. If it's math, science, social studies, which grade, and then they can search for something and just pick it right off of here and use it. But also they can create their own if they needed to, so you have the ability to build your own. And then this site as well is very well organized as far as the steps you take to build your lesson, and it gives you hints on what you should and should not include. And then also if you need help completing a step, there's a little box and it'll say something similar to this, and it'll show you an example of something you may put in that box. So that's a good piece to this. But it also could be used, say, if you're trying to show kids how to even create a lesson on their own, and say, hey, we're going to allow you to make your own lesson, and then they can go in here and collaborate with one another and build a lesson that they would like to be taught in the classroom, and they may like that.
I like this personally because I have never been taught to write a lesson. Like, I've never actually been shown what goes in a lesson. So this helped me pinpoint real things that I need to put in my lesson plan.
I felt the same way. It's kind of overwhelming to write a lesson if you haven't been taught, and I don't think any of our classes really have. So the step-by-step process was really nice to have when I was kind of like, what do I do next?
Yeah, definitely. And it also includes some kind of polish tools too to kind of make your lesson shine even more, to kind of add luster to it. So you can add a couple extra things. But
and it's great because you can share it with other teachers as well, so they don't have to recreate the wheel every time.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, well, we thank you for joining us this evening and hope you enjoyed our tools. And until next time.
Signing off.